Watson Institute runs several programs throughout the year, and our main goal here is to give our fellows the tools, the network, the mindset, and most importantly, the courage to solve the toughest challenges facing the world and lead impactful lives. Watson Institute is extremely proud to have just an amazing community of our alumni. Watson Institute has over 500 scholars and alumni from 80 countries from all over the world. And those alumni have raised over $175 million, created over 1,500 part and full-time jobs, and impacted millions and millions of people around the world through their ventures. Watson Institute alumni have also been selected to Y Combinator, Eco and Green Fellowship, and 6 of them have actually been named to the Forbes 30 Under 30 list. Our alumni also continue their education in places like Harvard, Princeton, Oxford, and many other schools all over the world. So you can see it's quite a little bit of impact, and we're really excited to have 3 of our alumni today share their experience with all of you. I think now we have a little bit more people who joined, and before we start, I want to set a couple of ground rules for the session. First of all, please do not unmute your microphones. You will have a chance to ask all of your questions at the end of the session through the chat feature. We also would love to see your faces, only if you're comfortable with turning your camera on, but you obviously have this chance, so please turn your cameras on if you want. And finally, we will be recording this event, so also please keep this in mind. And I'll talk for just a little bit more before we jump into our panel. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background of how this event came into existence. It's something, alumni panel is not something that we do for such a wide audience as we do today. And this idea came to us after we organized an alumni panel for our degree program at Alumni University, where I was a part of the alumni panel myself. So I am an alumni of Watson Institute degree program. And so I've been with the organization for several years now, and now I was a search manager at Watson Institute, and you've probably received many, many emails from me. And that was my quick introduction. So now I want to pass mic to Isabel. She is also she will be helping out me to facilitate this session.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. As Milena said, my name is Isabel. I'm the VP of Admissions and Search at the Watson Institute, and I will be very active during this session in the chat box. So if you have any questions or any thoughts, please feel free to type them in, and I will be responding and recording and saving some questions for us to ask our wonderful alumni at the end. So thank you, Milena.
Thank you so much, Isabel. Now we can jump into introducing our alumni panelists. We'll start with Sienna. Sienna, you can take a couple of minutes to quickly introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sienna. I'm from China. I graduated from the Watson Venture Accelerator program in spring 2022. I am a certified life design coach, a positive psychology trainer. I am a master trainer at UNESCO, and I'm also a graduate student at Harvard University.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sienna. The next panelist is Samuel Lasiti.
Yeah, thank you so much, Milena. And my name is Samuel Lasiti. I'm from Kenya. And I graduated from the Venture Accelerator program in fall 2021, and I did it virtually. And currently I'm working in the US, Virginia, working on an exchange program as a regenerative carbon farming and field research assistant, where I'm pursuing my passion in agriculture and also trying to get as much skills and knowledge to impact my venture, which is working on addressing food security and climate change issues back in Kenya, mostly in arid and semi-arid dry lands in Kenya.
Thank you so much, Samuel, for sharing. I know a lot of people who are interested in our program, they do work in agriculture. So I think your experience will be very valuable to them. And Wenli, please take a couple minutes to introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you very much for the invite. Hello, everyone. My name is Wangley. I'm originally from Brazil, but now I'm at Duke University studying engineering. And well, more than that, I'm a computer technician, graduated from the Federal Institute of Education, Science and Technology. Since high school, I've developed more than 4 startups, 2 of them kind of successful, we can say. And more than that, I'm really passionate about the integration between engineering, technology, and health care. My specific area of interest and developing of technologies, and all my businesses are related to that, to technological innovation, focused mainly on health tech and healthcare in this scenario. And it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you so much, Angli. As you can see, everyone, we have a very diverse alumni panel. Our alumni work in very different areas and industries, and are taking different career paths. So I think it's going to be a very interesting session. I think I'll stop sharing my screen so you can see all of our faces. And yeah, we will jump into our first question right now, and it is, what made you decide to join Watson Institute? And I would love for Sienna to kick us off.
Yes, thank you so much for the question. So in the beginning of 2022, I was actually already working on the idea of my venture. It's called Flourish Live Design Academy. I knew that I wanted to build this academy in China because I want to tackle the problem of poor mental health, such as depression and anxiety for teenagers. I know this is a very serious problem, not only in China, but also all over the world, especially after the pandemic. And this is the academy. I want to combine international best practices like live design and positive psychology, because I have certification for both of them. And I want to instruct young people from all social backgrounds to increase their social emotional learning skills and design their future lives. But back then, I had no support in terms of network and business knowledge and experience. So I was searching for an international community and a program where I can learn the best that I can. And I found out Watson is a great place because people like me from all over the world, they can bring different perspectives, knowledge, and cultural backgrounds. I learned a lot from this program. For example, how to do a pitch deck, how to write your value proposition statement, and how to do a lean canvas. These are very important and basic business knowledge for any entrepreneur. So I decided to do that, and it turns out it was a wonderful journey for me. So that's why I decided to apply.
I love that you emphasized the fact of this international aspect of Watson, because there are so many accelerators in each specific country there where our applicants are coming from, in each even specific city, especially in the US, where the accelerator programs, for example, they're focusing on developing something within this community specifically, which is great. But Watson definitely brings together a very wide group from all over the world who are able to share those very diverse experiences. And sometimes while fellows might be working on a very similar issue, because they're coming from different countries, these issues are portrayed from different sides, and it gives a very great perspective. Samuel or Wenli, do you have anything to share here?
Yeah, so I came to Watson in a moment that was painful for me because I went bankruptcy like a couple of months before applying to Watson, and my main idea here was specifically to understand what I was doing wrong in the scenario, because I had the feeling that entrepreneurship was not for me because I was failing a lot, and apparently that is part of the process. And as Sian also said, all the community and something that is very valuable that I could find at Watson, and not other accelerators, as we're discussing, is the learn by doing. So we use our own venture as the main practice. So all the exercises, everything, all the assignments that we have are directed to your business. So you're in the class, and after that, you already applied the knowledge to your venture. So that was the main highlight for me.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I think the more failures that you have as an entrepreneur, the more experience. And I think I personally admire those people even more, because sometimes, things go the right way right away. And for many people, it is that way, but failures definitely make as a much stronger entrepreneur. So that's why everyone to remember, we're just starting their entrepreneurship journeys. Samuel, how did you find out about Watson, and why did you decide to join?
Yeah, so a friend of mine was to apply for Watson, and she was not able to apply, and she sent the referral to me so that I can apply for Watson. And I applied for Watson through nomination by a Watson partner in Kenya. And by doing that, I looked on the opportunity. I went to Watson website and looked on the accelerator program, and I just said, like, wow, this is exactly what I want at this point of life. When I had started my venture, like 1.5 years before that, and I was in a point where I was driven by the passion, but I really lacked the clarity and the confidence, and missing on some points in terms of my leadership, and also being part of a network and community of leaders. And the global aspect, I had not been in any international program like a Watson Institute. So applying for the Watson and being successful in the application was really important for me to be part of this community and to bridge the gaps in my leadership and running my venture, which I really was in a point of wanting to explore that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And since you already started talking about that, Samuel, maybe you can extend on what are some significant takeaways that you took from the experience at Watson program?
Yeah, I will say, as Wangli was mentioning about how practical the experience was in terms of, you do, like, let's say you are talking about branding, you develop your own brand for your venture, and the business model, you work on every step of your business model until you complete it in relation with your venture. So as we did and worked on those components of our business model, we were getting and receiving feedback from our preceptors, from our mentors, and also from the different one-on-one meeting sessions that we had. And from this feedback, I really learned how to take feedback and how to incorporate it in building my venture. And one of the things I liked was the aspect of Watson Institute investing in me as a leader and building on my capacity so that I can effectively lead my venture. And that's one of the main takeaways that I had. So over time, you realize increased confidence, you will have your leadership skills enhanced, you have your network, and you have your passion, like you know that you have support, you have people that understand what you're doing, and also the co-peers from the group discussions. They were all things that help to help you in as you work on your venture.
Yeah, this community element that we always try to emphasize and trying to, increase. The more program grows, the more organization grows. We try to keep this community element as an integral part of the program, because how much of an impact at the end of the day it creates. Sienna, I have a question for you. So it's kind of similar to the previous one, but here I would love for you to talk about maybe like specific resources or opportunities that you were able to get either after graduating or like during your time in the program.
The resources, I'm thinking about what I was doing in the program. Something that really came to my mind is definitely those one-on-one meeting with your preceptors and your mentors, and also the staff members as well, because they're always so helpful. They play a very huge role in my life. Not only they are my teachers, but also my life mentors. They gave me the best advice and helped me a lot, not only professionally, but also personally. One of the preceptors, Rob, love him so much. He's the best. I learned so much in his class, and also he was the recommendation person for me for Harvard. So I'm very grateful for him. So I just want to give the advice: if you are able to be part of this program, please take advantage of these opportunities. Don't miss out on these resources, because they're so the people there are so kind and helpful. I only talked about the preceptors and staff members right now, but definitely the people that you're going to meet in the program, they're from all over the world. They're just like you. They're like-minded people who are trying to make an impact on the world. So if you meet them, and you have to build a strong connection with them, because they probably will be your lifetime friends. And I still talk to those scholars. Some of them, I talk to them every single day. We talked about, what happened in our venture. Sometimes we share memes on Instagram, which is like become super good friends, even though back then my program was complete online for 4 months. But distance and also time zone, they're never a problem for me. Yeah. And if I have a chance, I would love to talk about the takeaway, but yeah, you can ask me later. If I can talk about it, I would love to share.
Oh yeah, go ahead. That's a perfect time for it, right?
Yeah. After Samuel talked about the takeaway, I would love to talk about that. And also Wang Li talked about the personalized, learning for us as an entrepreneur, because we all have our own venture. We came in the program to build on the venture that we have. And like you said, for example, I also study courses at some of the courses at HBS, Harvard Business School. So we always talked about like case studies from other companies and case studies in the past. But Watson is a place for you, to really work on your own idea. Like you learn the knowledge and then you apply to your own venture. And that's something that I love about. And another takeaway, I would love to talk about a little personal story. I believe it's called you ask and you shall receive. So in the beginning of the program, I was browsing the Watson website, and I saw they had a master course called Designing Your Life. I immediately got so excited, because I am a certified life design coach, and this is literally what I do for my venture. So I teach teenagers how to design their lives. So I just emailed the program coordinator and asked, hey, if you still offer this course this semester, if so, I would love to be a TA. And it turns out they absolutely love this idea. And I remember back then the program coordinator, his name is Jorge, he was so excited. And then he told me he would love to help me to host a 2-hour live design workshop as a master course as a scholar back then. So I'm gonna offer the workshop as one of the scholars for the other scholars. But I took the opportunity, and that's what I did. I taught a 2-hour live design workshop for them as a master course. And later in the fall semester, they invited me again to teach the same workshop for scholars in the fall semester program. So what I learned is Watson is a place that really values your skill set. If you have something you can contribute to the community, you can bring on the table, and you're confident about it, they will be so welcome. And if you're brave enough to ask for it, and you will get it, because no opportunity will come to you if you just sit back, relax, and just wait. You have to be proactive. So that's my takeaway.
Yeah, that's all about creating your own opportunities versus just sitting around and waiting for something to come your way. And I actually did know about this story, and it sounds amazing and very inspirational for everyone here to kind of demonstrate that this is the place, entrepreneurial space, always open for your new ideas, and everything comes to your mind. The community at Watson Institute will help you to implement it, whether it's something outside of the program related to your organization, or is it something even within the program like Sienna did. Wang Li, do you have anything to add in relation to what you took away from Watson and your experience in the program?
Yeah, totally. Something that sticks with me. It's our kind of mantra or something like that, which is embrace your courage. I came to Watson failing a lot, feeling that I was not supposed to be an entrepreneur, and today I want to pursue this kind of career. So embrace your courage. You're going to hear this sentence again and again, over and over, until it makes sense. It does, after all. But more than that, all the relationship related to creating your own opportunity, as well as all the advice that I received from both the preceptors and my mentors, were awesome. But something that I most learned in Watson is that I would say this in a strange way, but it's not that important what you're doing right now, but it's more important the people that you know, because one of the main things as entrepreneur is actually the networking, the people that you know, and the kind of capillarization that you need to have in your career. So yeah, that's it.
I also would love for you to add, and because you talked a lot about networking and your mentors and opportunities, we do receive a lot of questions about the mentorship element of the program, and I would love for you to go into details and tell us how it is structured and how were you able to meet the mentors that you currently have.
Okay, so my mentor specifically, we had meetings every week, discussing very different topics related to my business, and is a one-on-one meeting, or in person or online. And specifically, we discuss topics on how to leverage your, in my case, my business. So we discuss from who I could contact, the different paths that I could go to launch my product. So it's very customized and very narrowed down to exactly what you need. And the Watson team, I think they have a kind of, I would say a crystal ball, that they really match you with the right person that you need. That was my experience, and the mentor that I had was specifically the one that I most needed, in the sense that my main difficulty was in launching products, and apparently that was his kind of specialty. So yeah.
Yeah. So in this mentorship relationship, continuing throughout, your entrepreneurship journey, they don't add at the end of the your official Watson experience. Even I still talk to the mentor that I met during my time at Watson Institute. So all this relationship are extremely valuable. And thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. I would love for all of you to maybe share one story from your experience at Watson, not a specific skill, not a specific knowledge that you took, but maybe an impactful story that you're still remembering with a smile on your face. Samuel, do you want to kick off, or if you want to take a moment to think, it's fine.
Yeah, I think I just want to add a little bit on what Wang Liu shared about mentorship, and this I didn't want to miss. And one of the mentors, as we were doing our pitching activities and during Funders Week, we had Watson partners like Martini Education and Opportunity Trust that used to come and even do master courses. And from there, they saw about my program, my venture, and they followed up with me after the program towards the end. And from 2021 or 2022 last year, they were taking me through a mentorship. So that was kind of from the relationship that I built, and I had mentors to closely follow up with me. So in regards to a moment during Watson that was impactful to me was during Funders Week. I remember it was one of the most intensive week that we did. And we were working on a proposal and all the components of a proposal within a week, and we developed it. And I remember the intentionality I had in terms of putting much effort into it and taking feedback in a very short period of time. I remember taking the feedback, doing the corrections, and by the end of the day, I had my proposal well developed at the end of the week. And we were getting some seed funding, and I was really happy that I was the top in that place in terms of the proposal that I had written. And that was really a moment for me, because up to this moment, I still use the same proposal to fundraise and to raise funds for my initiative.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, you can see from the from Samuel's response that it is an accelerator, right? It is an intense program. Sometimes it might be a little easier, sometimes it might be a little harder, but you should be prepared to put your best effort forward and participate in all those opportunities that Watson presents you with if you're part of the program. And you also touched on the way you met your mentors, and I also wanted to emphasize the fact that not all programs match you with a mentor right away. But what Watson does is to create these opportunities, like Samuel just described, where people are meeting you from absolutely different places from all over the world, and you're able to make those connections yourself and meet people who potentially will become your mentors. So yeah, that was a great point. Thanks so much for sharing. Wangli and Sienna, if you have anything, like any exciting stories, any cool stories from your experience at Watson, I would love for you to share.
Oh, I have one specific moment that I remember. It was more in the end of the journey that we had a time for all the scholarships to be together and having some fun. I don't know if someone remembered this day, but we went to a Zoom call and we start helping each other, giving tips, because that's one great thing about the cohort. We have very different people with very different expertises. So one person is very good in launching products, another one is very good in creating products, and we exchange ideas. So it's very good. But more than that, it happened something that I never saw in another scenario. Every scholar was dancing in front of the camera, Jorge included, and we were dancing for like half an hour in a row. So it was really a moment that stuck with me, like, okay, we are online, but we still can have fun, and we are still sharing ideas. And I still remember that I have actually a screenshot of that moment still in my computer.
That's such a great story. Yeah, I think pandemic and when everything went virtual really taught us how to make those moments, create those moments, even in when we're by ourselves in our offices, in our homes, how to keep this community together and have those small, really exciting moments that at the end of the day, make the difference. Thank you for sharing. Sienna, if you want to take a moment to share.
I have so many. I don't know which one there, but definitely, yes, I remember when I was doing the live design workshop, that was the day that Jorge was leaving. So I created a Kahoot game for us to play, and then it was so touching, and people cry. And also another thing was the breakout room during the classes. I have no idea how many times I cry and laugh with all the scholars. This is such a wonderful place. We call them Watson family. Everyone is like family. This is a place for you to be vulnerable. You can share your lowest moment and your highest moment. Every Monday we have a meeting called All Hands on Deck. This is a time where we share one high moment, one low moment, and also a grateful moment that you want to be, you want to, give the shout out. This is the hand gesture at Watson, like yeah. We snap. So yeah, those times are really happy. I really miss that. I want to go through this program again. Can I apply again? Just kidding.
But as you can see, we are creating opportunities for alumni to get engaged with Watson, and down the road there'll be more and more for our growing alumni community to keep being engaged with our programs, talk to the current or prospective fellows, and so on. So thank you so much for sharing. And yes, thank you for bringing up the snaps. Snaps, it's a Watson like a sign, like a thing when we agree with someone, if we emphasize with someone, instead of clapping, I don't think it even equals to clapping. It's more like, yeah, I agree with you, or I really support what you're saying right now. And if you are in the room with Watson family, you hear that all the time. And when the whole room goes like this, it's just such an inspiring feeling. Thank you so much for sharing. So we talked a lot about your experience at Watson as a fellow, and now I want to touch on what you've done after graduating from Watson and how this experience helped you to navigate the world after graduation. So the question is, can you share any successful ventures or initiatives that you've been involved with since graduation, and what impact did they have? And anyone can start here.
Well, I can go. So, so all the knowledge that I got from Watson, I applied to some of my ventures. The one that I'm right now, Underground Devs. We scaled up a lot. We went from just serving our city to having contracts overseas. Now we are operating in 6 different countries with more than 50 clients. Underground Devs is just a startup focused on developing high-tech solutions, specifically for small businesses and nonprofit organizations. And more than that, I was happy to be the national coordinator for digital transformations in technology in the largest NGO focused on youth entrepreneurs in Brazil. And all this knowledge from both entrepreneurship and creating my life plan, as Sienna brought to us, was very interesting. And in this NGO specifically, we developed an entire network, entire cohort with more than 5,000 young teenagers and young adults in Brazil, connected to entrepreneurship, creating their own businesses and being connected together in this network.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. I actually did not know all this impact that the organization have created. So definitely takeaway for me as well. What about you, Samuel?
Okay, for me, early 2022, I started with just after finishing the program, now implementing the aspect that I learned at Watson, and being on the field, working with farmers and building partnerships, and also fundraising. And the other aspect that I was doing was mentorship. There was a follow-up mentorship by Martini Education and Opportunity Trust, who I connected with at Watson, and they followed up with me afterwards. And they took me through a journey of building on my presentation skills and storytelling more. And with that, I was able to refine more my deck, and with the deck, I've been able to use that so much in terms of fundraising. I also worked on a project with farmers, and this project was dubbed Climate Smart for people living with disabilities. And we worked with 100 households where we supported the households with kitchen gardens. One of the things we innovate is multi-story gardens, and they are simple structure that are very easy to grow and manageable for people that are from pastoral communities, dry areas, or with less spaces, such as urban areas that are crowded and they don't have places to farm. So we worked on that project, and it was very successful. Since the household that we impacted, you will see the people living with disabilities bringing on their caretakers to help them farm. So it was kind of an approach of a very successful project that we did in 2022. And so far, we are still working on getting more support and training people. The other component I'll say I've been working on is I came to the United States for an exchange program, and I've been working on a regenerative agriculture. And this was to follow up and increase my knowledge and skills on regenerative agriculture, so that I can really enhance my skills in terms of the practical things that I work on. And when I got here, I've really been exposed to so many systems of regenerative agriculture and networks. And currently we just became part of the East Africa Regenerative Network, which is bringing in East Africa countries to really take a quick action in terms of climate change to address the effect of climate change, which is really affecting most countries in East Africa. So basically, that's what I've been working on.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's definitely a long range of initiatives that you're working on, and seeing that you work with agriculture, knowing that it's such an essential part of economy in many countries, especially countries that you're coming from. It's really inspiring to see all this work that you're doing. So thank you so much for working on such important issues. And the more I talk to different alumni, the more I connect with different alumni, the more inspirational stories like that I hear, and just so grateful to be part of this community. Sienna, do you want to share?
Yes. After graduating from the program, I joined UNESCO as a master trainer. I teach social emotional learning and the digital teachers. These are two courses offered by UNESCO. I teach these courses for educators from all over the world. This is definitely a wonderful experience for me to develop my teaching skills, my confidence, and also my communication competency. And after that, I also selected as a Ford Fund Fellow. It's another program offered by Watson Institute and Ford Motor Company. I got seed funding from the Ford Motor Company. And later, I got a scholarship from Stanford Online. I'm actually studying the Innovation and Entrepreneurship program with Stanford Online. And also I joined Unison Youth. I got selected as a Unison Youth Fellow. This is a foundation, this is a nonprofit organization founded by Nobel Peace Prize winner, Muhammad Yunus. If you're familiar with him, he's like the very classic case study for Harvard Business School. And in July, I'm going to relocate in Boston. I'm going to study education leadership, organization, and entrepreneurship at Harvard. So yeah, I'm very excited for my journey ahead. Yeah, thank you.
That is amazing. Again, thank you so much for sharing, Sienna. You've been with Watson for some time, and it's really, for us, it's really amazing to see all the progress that you've made and all the impact that you've created, as well as your own, professional growth. So congratulations. We have about 5 more minutes before we can transition to Q&A. So I just have a couple more questions. The first question is, how would you describe Watson to someone who is not familiar with the organization? Maybe like in a short sentence, maybe in a couple sentences.
I can start.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely a home for change makers. If you want to make friends, like the other like-minded people from all over the world, or you want to learn business skills and gain experience to be a better entrepreneur, this is a place for you. And most importantly, this is a place for you to start your personal growth journey.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Thank you. Samuel. Oh, okay, Wendy, here we go.
I say that Watson's more than a place for you to create opportunities for yourself and others, but also to see those opportunities, because much of the time we're just looking like straight ahead without paying attention to what is happening on our sides, and Watson brings you a broader vision of everything that is happening, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, just to add that Watson Institute is a place where they will invest in you so that you can give the best to the people that you are impacting, and they help you realize that growth in yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a great way to describe Watson, and I agree with everything that you said. Since so many participants of this panel today are either potential applicants or future applicants, I think what one advice, so just a general advice you give people who are just about to start their venture at Watson or, at this application process right now?
I would like to say, be authentic, be proactive, don't be afraid. If you truly feel passionate about what you do and you're committed to solving the problem with your venture, and you have to be able to articulate that with the people like Melina, the director of research, you have to let them know. They will feel your passion, if you have any doubt in your mind, please remove that, because I'm sure you're an amazing person just trying to be here listening to us because you want to learn and you want to be in this journey. The world needs someone like you. And just if you have any doubt, don't, just apply.
Thank you.
My main tip in this scenario for the application is be sure that you show more than the why you're doing what you're doing, than the what and how. It's very important to understand your motivation. You're eager to be inside of Watson than just understanding what you're doing. So please be sure to tell in the application the why you do what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Sienna and Wang Li have just mentioned very important points that I also wanted to say, but yeah, the aspect of intentionality and showing that passion, it can be, people can tell your passion. And one thing I believe in is people can steal your idea, but they can't steal the passion out of you. So that can be really told.
I love that. People can steal your idea, but they can't steal your passion. That is really true. Reiterating what all of you said, I think all of the answers incorporated the idea about the why you are passionate, why you're doing what you do. A lot of people are asking what stage my venture has to be, how much revenue did it have to generate. The main thing that we're looking at is how committed you are to actually solving the issue you're trying to solve one way or another. And very often when you talk to individuals like this, you can even see it from the example of our amazing panelists. You can see that these people are truly passionate about what they do, and even if they fail, even if something goes wrong, we know that they're going to stand up and continue fighting with what they believe in. And that's, I think, very inspiring, and we love bringing people like that to our community. Thank you so much for sharing. I would love for everyone to address any questions that they have in the chat right now. I don't know, Isabel, if anyone has asked any questions previously that you think are interesting, and we can ask our panelists. But is it a chance for you to ask your questions now?
Yes, we have no questions yet. So to all of our attendees, we're managing the chat. Please feel free to post your questions there.
And you don't have to unmute yourself. You can just put the question chat. I love this question. What were the challenges that you faced during the program? Let's see, whoever first comes up with a question, with an answer can answer.
For me, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it was joining the that was my first time doing a very intensive program virtually, and at times it's challenging because of this was it involved like people from around the world and from different cultures, and at times you don't get what someone is saying, and it's something that is going fast, and you're trying to understand, trying to digest everything within a short period of time. So that was a little challenging, but I used to follow up with what I was not getting clearly, and I will follow up and with writing questions, and during my one-on-one meetings with our staff or the preceptors or my mentors, I'll get that clarified.
Thank you.
Yeah, for me, I think the time zone is one of the biggest challenges. If you're joining from Asia, back then, my class, we have class every single day from Monday to Friday. from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. every day, for 4 months. So this is definitely a challenge for me, but I think the program changed since spring 2022. So I think you have 1 week immersive experience in Boulder, and then you have not many courses during the day.
Yeah, that is correct. And thank you for bringing it up. Currently, the program is structured the following way. It's a 16-week program. The first week is in-person immersive in Boulder, Colorado, and the rest of the program is remotely. But the sessions only, I think, take place 2 to 3 times a week. Because as you mentioned, it was a very intense program, and many of the fellows that we work with are working on their ventures full time, and we want to keep in mind that. Yes, thank you for sharing. Maybe since we're still talking about like this operational side of the program, you can describe what maybe like what did the week look like for you in terms of what did you learn, what did you have a chance to talk to mentors, and how often did that happen? Van-Lee, if you want to touch on that.
Sure. Yeah. So the main structure back on the old times from the fall 2021, so a while ago, the structure is very work heavy. I remember one of my panics answering the previous question as well, were that I needed to give results in like 3 days. So we had class, we needed to go run for validate our product in like 3 days and come back with the result, and also talk to the mentor, to my mentor in these 3 days. So it's a very intensive program, and my week was mainly based on some classes during the week, but most of my time inside of the program was developing my venture, doing the assignments, going to validate the product, doing research, customer research in this scenario. And I met with my mentor, I would say once a week, but in some weeks twice or even 3 times, depending on how stressful and how many work we had on the week.
Thank you so much for sharing. I want to jump into this question. As a leader and a founder, are you more of a trust my gut decision maker or a data-driven decision maker? I think it's a very interesting question, and I don't know who wants to start. I see that Wang is being agreeing with this question.
Can I?
Yeah.
I say that it's important to always trust your goal, but my experience is that when you have data-driven decisions, they are more accurate, and they're going to be based specifically on what is the environment telling you than on, let's say, random factors in this sense. So I would say that most of the time go with data-driven decision, but if you don't have data, trust on your experience. That's also important, but if possible, trust data. But okay, I'm very tendacious to say that because I'm a data scientist. So yeah, but data-driven decision is the way in my view.
There we go. What about you, Samuel?
I think data-driven decisions are as important too, but I also trust like a balance between the two is important, because of course you need both. To me, I need both. So it's a balance between the two.
Thank you.
I want to add, so I'm a vision person. If you did the personality test, you would know your personality, the 4 letters. I'm a very classic ENFP. So I make decision according to my feeling, my emotion, because I'm tend to be more emotional person. But I would say that if you're that kind of person, you would definitely want to find a co-founder who is like very different from you, who can, be more analytical or more rational. So yeah, you have to understand your personality and your strength and also your weaknesses.
Thank you. I totally agree. Every team, I think, has a visionary, and I don't remember the other name of the person, but the person who's like staying on top of all the metrics, looking at the data. But I personally believe that people are still making, at the end of the day, all the decisions I make based on the feelings, but sometimes we use data to actually back up those feelings or those inner like gut feelings that we have. Yeah, but it's always great to rely on data. All right, let's see. We have a couple more questions coming in.
I
Well,
see a question, Milena, and this came from Violetta, if I'm pronouncing your name right. Have you been able to increase the visibility of your venture since joining the program?
Anyone can jump in.
Yes, definitely. Just an example, I was in the Ford Fund program, and one of the things that we need to do is you have to host a base camp in your local community. And I did that. I hosted a 2-day immersive live design training for my community. And back then, back in a couple of months ago, and if you heard the news back then in China, we were still in a lockdown, and people were just like really in a bad situation, in a very low mental health situation. So after the lockdown ended, I hosted this program, and it turned out I got support not only from government, but also from other, overseas entrepreneurship, clubs. So I got a lot of support. And then in the training, people like cry, and people make huge, they make very, very strong connection. And I got the feature, and I definitely learned so much, and I got a lot of visibility.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, me too. After Watson, I had some opportunities to talk about my venture. Mainly I could give 2 speeches on how I created my venture, and this brought a lot of visibility to us, and we had our first international client thanks to that opportunity. And other than that, the people that I met in the alumni community after my program ends in 2021 was awesome, because I made friends back in Brazil that participated in the Watson Accelerator before me and with me as well. And we keep sharing ideas, and I even talk to them once a month. We have a monthly call just to share and discuss. And yeah, I think it's very, very interesting, this kind of lifetime membership that we have at Watson Alumni.
I love that wording, lifetime membership. What about you, Samuel?
To me, it will be the visibility, of course, has increased. After Watson, I was involved so much in telling my stories, doing presentation, and over time, I've told my stories to so many people, and they get to know me, they get to know what I'm doing. And through that, I've increased my growth in terms of the network of my organization.
Yeah, I think as we already mentioned several times throughout this panel, Watson provides you with a very wide range of opportunities, and they come kind of, it's up to you and what way you utilize them, and in what degree you utilize them, right? And based on how much you put in to the program, how much you in the end take out. So it's really kind of based on your own actions and on your own involvement in the program. Great, thank you so much for sharing, everyone. I saw a question to Wang Li about how you engaging your team to, I lost this question, but it was how to get your team motivated and happy to work towards a common goal, and maybe just talking generally about the leadership experience, and how Watson maybe contributed to it.
Yeah, totally. So the first thing that I learned inside of Watson is that it's very difficult or almost impossible for you to be a leader for others if you're not first a leader for yourself. So the first time is for you to truly understand the why question, why you do what you do. And the main point about teams, and I would say this is one of the main points of leadership, is for you to transmit your passion and why everyone, each one of the team is important on what they're doing. So for example, in my team, I had a developer. He was not just developing and writing code. The main point is that in my ventures, we always have events showing what the impact of the work that they are doing are generating. So we should keep the team engaged mainly with the why, than more than the how in the scenario, which is something that you're going to learn throughout your Watson experience, if so.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's a great answer. Let's see, Isabel, do you see any questions coming in?
In the interest of time, I know we also only have 3 minutes. So
That's right. Thank you.
yeah, yes, this is a wonderful conversation. I'm sure we could go on all morning, but to our incredible alumni, any last thoughts, pieces of advice or recommendations to our audience?
I always love the city name Boulder. So I want every one of you be bolder.
Huh?
Be bolder. That should be our new motto. Not protect your courage, but be bolder. Because I think it has a lot of meaning to it. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, I would say everyone is doing an important job, and I believe that everyone that joined this call, they joined because they want to take the next step in their leadership or in entrepreneurship. And it's good that you have all already taken the first step of doing it and taking the challenge of starting something. And if you continue with that intentionality, you might not end up being at Watson, but there are so many opportunities that you can apply and you can be part of, provided you work and keep the commitment alive in terms of what you do.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
I would say, again, protect your courage. Like, you already have an idea. If not, you already have a business. Just keep doing it always. That's the question that I try to ask myself every time that I just get up from my bed. It's why are you doing what you're doing? I think it's the main point. And I wish you all the luck and all the positiveness throughout your journey.
Beautiful. Thank you all so much for joining us today. It was an absolutely amazing session. Everyone appreciates your feedback and all your thoughts in your experience in Watson Institute. We are very grateful to have you as a part of our alumni community and our Watson family. I know that we have received a couple of questions about application process. Please be patient with us. We have received a very large number of applications, but we will make sure to follow up with all of you regarding the status of your applications to the Venture Accelerator. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You have received already many emails from me, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Again, thank you so much for joining, and we really appreciate you being a part of Watson.